So, over the course of a few weeks, I've been getting a lot of PMs about a particular series that folks want me to review. At least watch. And this series is known as Parasyte The Maxim. Now, the Japanese name is寄生獣 Seino something, whatever. And I have watched episodes 1 through 4. I believe right now they're on episode 7 online. And I think they come out either on Wednesdays or on Thursdays online. So I'm not too sure which day exactly. But the point here is that they come out in the middle of the week. And I don't know if I'm going to review it, but I am here to give you my first impressions. Apparently, episodes 5 and 6 are really good. Okay, I haven't gotten that far yet, but I figure let me do first impressions first before I review it, if I'm going to review it. I'll let you guys know later on in the week, because it's Thanksgiving week, so I have free time, obviously. Now, this series, well, basically, to give you guys a plot summary of the series thus far. Basically, you have the main character, Izumi Shinichi, and he's a 17, as always in anime manga, a 17 high school girl or high school boy. The life is going sweet. Skippity-doo-dah, skippity-day, my oh my, what a wonderful day. And all of a sudden, something happens, and their life gets flipped upside down, and then they gotta deal with this shit while trying to lead high school lives. Oh, that's so original! I watch too much anime. I really do, man. It's fucking everywhere. High school, middle school, and some of these middle school, high school cats looking like straight up grown men. It's like, what the fuck? Like seriously. Like, this dude has a fucking beard, and he's in like 7th grade. It's like, dog, no! What are you guys doing? It's weird, but whatever. Moving on. You have a situation where, again, his life is going a-okay, nothing too crazy, nothing too extravagant. And then one day, he's sleeping, and he's in his room, and all of a sudden, he wakes up to find some weird bug snake-like thing in his room. This bug snake-like thing winds up burying into his right arm, and it's crawling up his arm, trying to get into his brain. So what he does is that he takes a cord, and he wraps it around his arm. He cuts circulation to his arm, and the bug can't go any further. He wakes up, he goes to school, his right arm is a little bit funky, and over the course of the day, he starts to realize that his right arm is not normal. But he winds up realizing that his right arm was taken over by an entity that he calls a parasite. And, I mean, well, that's what it is. It is a parasite. And he later on calls it Migi. And pretty much, the episodes thus far are Migi and Izumi interacting with parasites that have completely taken over human bodies, like the brain, and fending them off most of the time. There is right now one exception, Tamiya Ryoko, but then that winds up turning out bad anyway. And it is interaction between Migi and Izumi, while Izumi tries to lead a regular life in school. And that's it. That's the plot thus far. So, again, it's very simple shit. We've seen it before, at least the main plot premises. But I can see why a lot of folks are into it, because it's fascinating. Not more so, because there are fights. There are fights between Migi, the parasite in Izumi's arm, against other parasites that have taken over a human host completely. So the parasites wind up going into the brain successfully. Some parasites wind up in other animals. The directive here for these parasites is to consume the same species that you take over. So an example here is that one of the episodes, you see a parasite that takes over a dog. That parasite that has taken over a dog can now only eat other dogs. There's a weird form of cannibalism that occurs with the parasites. So in the case of humans, when the parasite takes over a human body, they consume humans. And it's the very first scene you see in this series, episode 1, the first few minutes, it's strange as to how that works out, because these parasites, they were given some type of mission. We don't know who gave them this said mission, but apparently that's their mission. Because it looks like these parasites are from outer space. They're bona fide aliens. I mean, at this point in time, it's consume humans and try and meld into human society. But taking over the planet, again, not too sure. So, and Migi's an exception. And the reason why is because Migi, he gets nutrients from Shinichi's bloodstream. So he doesn't actually experience hunger like his other ilk. And it's fascinating in that respects. So not only is there a layer of mystery when it comes to their origins and their objectives, but also the character interaction. That's the most fascinating part of the series thus far. It's not the fights. It's not how they fight. Because how they fight, it's odd because they can make like blades from like the cells that in the human body, or in any body for that matter. And they can fight by like making like fleshy whips with like sickles at the end of it, pretty much. And it's kind of cool, but it's not that far out there. Because I've seen a lot of shit, and it's not that far out there. But what is fascinating is the interaction between Migi and Izumi. Because Migi, like his ilk, they don't experience empathy or sympathy. They don't have a lot of human-esque emotions. So, a lot of times, you have Izumi experience things such as rage, such as fear, such as embarrassment, stuff like that. Regular human emotions. And then Migi, he would question these things. Like, why are you experiencing this? Like, for example, episode 3 was pretty big because you have Migi and Izumi against another parasite called A-san. Like, you know, Naruto A. The case was that Migi and Izumi, they were in class, and then there was an announcement that there was an intruder in the school. And Migi, he can sense his ilk through brainwaves. So what's happening here is that Migi has a plan, because the other parasite, A, could not sense Migi that well because there were so many people. So Migi's plan was to use the humans around him as a meat shield. In Migi's case, it doesn't matter if it's humans, it doesn't matter if it's my own kind. My own objective is to simply survive, to make sure that Izumi is alive. The same thing applies for Izumi's own parents. Because Migi knows that if anyone else finds out, there's going to be problems when it comes to him being able to stay in Izumi. So if Izumi's parents were to find out, he would kill Izumi's parents. It doesn't matter. He has no biases. All the while, you have Izumi, who appears to be going through some type of change himself. It's not really confirmed at this point in time. It's strongly hinted. But Izumi himself is going through some type of change within his own body, aside from his arm. Right now, he's going out with this girl, Murano, Izumi, and basically, at some point, he got embarrassed. He got a little bit plush when they were talking about going out to get pancakes. And then you have Migi, like, you got a little bit aroused, so, like, I want to see how sex works. Like, shit like that. It's very awkward, but at the same time, it's very fascinating. It's a very fascinating interaction between Migi, the parasite in his arm, and Izumi himself. So, I like that aspect a lot. Then you have what appears to be some type of, because you have the whole alien thing going on. You have the concepts of empathy and sympathy being questioned constantly by Migi. In essence, you're getting a third-person perspective on the human psyche, which is fairly fascinating, again, through Migi. Because Migi, he can feel when Izumi is horrified, when he is embarrassed, when he's angry. There was one scene where Tanya Ryoko, a very powerful parasite woman, she had sex with another parasite host, A-san, the guy who Izumi kills later on in the episode 3 or episode 4. Episode 4. And she has a baby because she got pregnant because they had sex. but she's a parasite. The body was taken over by a parasite. But that does not change the fact that the baby inside of her is still a regular human baby. However, when Izumi confronts her about this, she says, yeah, I'll give birth to it, and then I'll probably do some type of experiments to it, and then if I'm bored there, I'm going to eat it. Again, these parasites, they lack a lot of human emotions, and we don't know what their mission is exactly, but the most fascinating thing is a lot of human concepts that we today find natural are constantly being questioned in this particular series through these characters, and I like that. Furthermore, you have what I think is a supernatural, but more or less a superhuman aspect going on too, where it looks like a lot of the women can sense something is amiss when it comes to their loved ones that have been taken over by parasites. So you have Murano, who is dating Izumi. You have Izumi's mom. And also Izumi's friend. Izumi's friend, the chick with the glasses, who sits next to him in class. These three women have noticed that something is a little bit off with Izumi. They're not too sure what's going on, but something is a bit off. The guys are not aware of that. Izumi's father appears to be oblivious to this, but his mom not so. No. Mom, she can sense some shit. As has Murano, as has the other girl with the glasses. Furthermore, in episode 4, you have the mother of Tamiya Ryoko. She, the mom, immediately knew when Tamiya was in her apartment and the mom came to her apartment because she got a call from the school that Tamiya left the school because there was an incident there, obviously, because Tamiya was pregnant and the school found out she's unmarried and, you know, culture stuff, so on and so forth. So there's the aspect too. They do touch upon that whole cultural pride aspect of getting married and settling down before you have children, that type of, that type of shit. Because it's seen as, to say the least, distasteful. However, what is very fascinating is the mom immediately knew that this person was not her daughter, despite the fact that despite the fact that she sounded and looked exactly like her daughter. She knew that it wasn't her daughter. Now, granted, Tamiya killed her because she was gonna go call the cops. Can't have that shit. But fact of the matter is that it looks like these women have like this sixth sense. That's at least some women do. So that in of itself is also very fascinating. I mean, I guess you can chalk it up to like a woman's intuition, I suppose. I guess. So either way, that's also being pushed in the story as well. So the series is fascinating in a lot of ways because it is a seinen, but you have the sci-fi aspect to it. You have action. You have horror. But mainly what grasps me is the psychological aspects that take place within the story and the questioning of human emotions and human ideologies that we seemingly don't question on a regular basis. Because Migi's always questioning these things. Migi is always questioning these concepts. Because Migi is an entity that is the third person. He came to this planet and then they throw in God a little bit in there as well. And it's just fascinating the way they go about it. So, at this point in time, I do like it, but I need to see episodes 5 and 6 and 7 when I get to it. Probably not tonight, but later, Wednesday maybe, who knows. But either way, will I review it? At this point in time, I'm not too sure. I think I need more revealed about this mystery aspect of the story. And even though I can clearly see mature themes being pushed, they're slightly hinted at. They're not full-blown quintessential to the overall character interaction and development and progression of the story. So, yes, it's good, but episodes 5 and 6, I think, because apparently since they're so damn good, I will take a look and see if they're actually that good to see if I can to see if I should review this series or not. So I'm dead. So that's it. I'm done. King Lightning. And I will see you guys and gals later. These are my thoughts, my first impressions on Parasyte The Maximum. Rate the video, comment, subscribe. Peace. Have a nice day.